Yes, I'm not teaching the president anything. I can't teach him. He was the leader of the war. They went through a lot. They know much more than we know. All right. But even being children, as we are, it doesn't mean to say we cannot contribute. Sometimes a child can just remind you of something that you've forgotten that you already know. Now, what I'm just reminding our leaders is that this colonization was in two parts which are interconnected. Religion and politics are two sides of the same coin. They worked together to achieve the goal. And now we were colonized and the land was taken. Not just the land, it was the land and the children and the people. Now you brought back the land, but you left the people there. But it's not in Yikavani. Now if you bring back that land, who do you give the land? You give black bodies and say, okay, we've given it to these people. We have retained them their land. But the people that you're giving the land, the inside of those people is not themselves. They are aspiring Jews and Israelites. How are they that they were stolen from a young age? And I've said already before, with all due respect, I said, even our leader, His Excellency himself, is also a victim of this indoctrination. He's so strong that from an early age, he was indoctrinated to think that Christianity is the religion of God, and it is the only way to God, and it is superior than any other religion. And the Bible is the word of God. Those things, if they're not taken out of the minds, you have land, but you have no people. So eventually you won't have that land, because you will give this land to these Israelites who masquerade as Zimbabweans, and they'll take it back, and they'll give it back to the colonizers, because they won't use it, because they don't believe that they are worth anything. They have no confidence in themselves. They can't invent nothing. They're stagnated. We can't improve. The spirit of improvement dead. The spirit of accuracy, the culture of accuracy is gone. Culture, maintenance culture is gone. You build a new building today, you give it to them, you come back after a few months, it's gone, it's dilapidated, no maintenance. The tiles are falling, the roof is falling, no one cares. Cleaning, the toilets they use are dirty. The places they work, the marketplace, everything is dirty. Why? Because the mentality that was cultivated in there was that you are not adequate, you are not enough, you are inferior, inherently inferior. Right? So what we're saying now is, are you sure the land you're giving to these people, you have returned them back? Because apart from taking the land, they also take the people. And when they took the people, most of them, they got them when they were still young. And this generation of leadership that we have now, those were the first victims of this indoctrination. And I know as I speak right now, many people think this is crazy. How can Christianity not be the only way to God? It's not true. God is so big that He doesn't have one way to Him. It's inexhaustible. As many as our fingerprints are, those are the ways of God. You cannot exhaust them. Even if you see a zebra, not one of them have got the same stripe pattern. They're different. Those are the ways of God. No one should stand and say the only way to God is via Christianity, is via the Bible. That is a lie which is not be sustained. And when we reject that, we are not saying Christianity is a bad religion. No, it is a good religion. to the Jews. That's where it belongs. If the chief or the president or whoever comes to my house and gets into my bedroom and wants to sleep there with my wife, I refuse. So, I refuse on the basis that I am the chief in that territory, in that place. Here in Africa, we have our territories and our territorial boundaries, spiritually and physically. And we own these territories. You cannot say Jesus of Nazareth reigns in Zimbabwe. No, it is not correct. It is just being ambitious. And you exaggerate this ambition and you become emotional about it. And you say, if you don't agree to this, God is going to kill you. God. Now, you turn people's opinions into God's religion. And as a result now, you have this group of people, some of them are leaders. You ask them their names. Who are you? He can describe himself. But at the end of the day, it tells, but above all, I am a devout Christian. Something like that. Something to that effect. Right? Because there is this feeling that this entitlement that they have, that Christianity should override everybody else, every other religion, and God okays it. If you question it one bit, they don't tolerate it. You're evil. You're coming from the devil. And so, this is the misinformation that we want to end. It's not fair to intimidate people with hellfire, with God's curses, with what, just for the sake of colonizing their minds. So we are still colonized in our minds. Whether the president agrees or disagrees with it, but it is the reality that we are having. And this is a big obstacle. It is preventing us from becoming ourselves. If we are not ourselves, we are not going to develop this country. If we don't have confidence in what God has given us, we will not be able to do this. So what I am doing now is not to despise the leadership. I am supporting the president to make sure if this thing is hiding behind a blind spot, he should be able to just turn his head and say, okay, there's something driving or somebody driving next to me. You might have missed this point, not because you don't know it, but there's a lot of things that you're concerned about. And then you overlook this important aspect. So this serves just as a reminder that don't forget that when they took the land, they also took the children. It's time to return the children. Their names were changed. Their totems were changed. Their religions were abolished. Their aspirations were changed. And now, you need to get that mindset back that it is godly to be a Zimbabwean, to be an African. There is nothing wrong with being a Zimbabwean. You don't need to be called an Israelite in order to go to God. You don't need to be called a Jew in order to go to God. God will accept you as a Zimbabwean, mwana wa murenga, mwana wa munhu mutapa. Netotemu yako unzi mukanya, kana washinzi kushungu, kana washinzi chikandamira. Whoever. Izvozvo zvakabva kuna Mwari. Saka kuti tizwisise kuti isusu, we have no problem as we are. Then we will start to develop ourselves. We start to make courses, making syllabi for ourselves, making buildings. Those guys that have taken us, they made sure they did what we did not do. They created a course, kugadzira course, ruzivo runostructure course. Then it's imparted to the other guy. Based on the talent of the one who knows, then it's imparted onto the other people. Then the next thing, they build buildings, which we call schools, where this can be imparted. Then from there, they went to the spiritual side. They realize that, okay, you've wrote your religion, but you don't have a nice place. Then they build a church. They put churches there. So every Sunday, every weekend you go, during the week you go to school. It's all structured there. Now, you need to retrieve these children. You need to get this Christianity in its rightful place, this Bible in its rightful place, without fear of hell, without fear of condemnation. This is the point we are. So what we're doing now is to support the president. Let me give an example of what is in that Bible, because that is where people's minds are, and that's where all their lessons are coming from. When Moses was fighting the battle with the Amalekites, God told him he must go on top and he must lift up his hands. Right? As long as his hands are in the air, those Israelites were winning. But he also grew tired because he couldn't keep the hands in the air the whole day. And then once the hands started to go down, the Israelites were losing. And Joshua and Hur had to go up there, and they brought Moses down to sit on a rock, and then they each supported Moses' arm to keep it up until sunset, until the battle was won. That's all we are doing, to lend a support to the hand of the president. The only problem is, maybe in the intelligence community or in the political field, if anyone speaks up to try to highlight certain things, it's regarded as a rebellion, or he's already fighting the president. Or if you interpret this as fighting the president, there's nothing further from the truth. I'm not fighting the president. I'm holding his hand so that the battle can be won, helping, because he needs that help at this particular moment. So he needs somebody who will volunteer and say, I will go and do this. So I'm volunteering and saying, I know what needs to be done, but I can't do it without he say so. He must give the blessing, say, okay, come here, son. You know how we need to clean the country? Yes. Okay. The resources you need will be available. Please, by all means, let's go and get it done. David, in the Bible again, he went there, he saw that Goliath, and then he said, but this Goliath is a giant, but he's talking things that are not right against the God. So this guy, I will defeat him. But he didn't just go there straight. He went back to Saul. He told the guys, go and tell the king that I can do this thing. I can do this job. And then he went back to the king. And the king tried to give him his armor and all that. He said, no, all I need is your authority to go. That's me paraphrasing it. Because he couldn't use. They were too big for him. And they said, okay, if you're comfortable with your little sling, okay, go. And he went. And we know the result. The giant came trampling down. That's what happens. The things that needs to be done are very simple. Very, very simple. And you can get it done. And the giant can come tumbling down. This religion, this Christianity, is big business. It's a giant. This Bible is big business. It's a giant. But it's killing us. We need to know what it is. Because there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of inaccuracies that needs to be corrected. So, the solutions that are here are not difficult. Back to basics. I'll give you an example again from that Bible, because that's where the people are keeping all their eyes now. Naaman of the Aramean army, he came, he had leprosy, and he came to Israel after being given advice by one of the servants there who was an Israelite. He comes there, and Elisha the prophet says to him, go to the river Jordan and wash 7 times. And Naaman was very angry. He said, this man, he didn't even come out here to meet me, to tell me nicely, to respect me as a man who is known as a man of valor, as a commander of the army. He just says, he sends a servant to me to send me to their river, which is dirty, this Jordan. We've got better rivers there we've come from. He should have told me to go there. But what I want to go at quickly there is his servants had to beg him and say, hey, king, if you were asked to do a difficult thing, were you not going to do it? Yes. No, this is simple. Just go and wash yourself there. Let's see what happens when you wash yourself there. The same thing is going to happen here. And Naaman was healed. What we are saying, I think this has been proved to be true. Murenga himself, that guy who had an interview with the Herald guys and Sunday Mail guys, we saw what he said, all right? So those things are very simple, okay? Why can't we do it? His Excellency, please, let's go and do it. And then let's come back and say, hey, your things are not working. You said, let's go and do A, B, C, D. It never worked. Rather than dismiss these things, when in actual fact, it is the solution. We are all trying to get to the bottom of the problem. And we are saying, let's go back to the basics. Let's put our ducks in a row. Let's do housekeeping. Let's remove things that are in the wrong places and put the right things in their places and see that our God won't help us. Let's clean our house. Let's put it in order. That is all. So when I'm coming there to see the president, I am not looking down upon the office of the president. So the people that are responsible for background checks and so on, that is your job. Fine, I know you need to check me and ascertain that where is this guy coming from. That's part of your job. It should be done. Right? But I need eventually to get access to sit with my leader and explain to him these things. If he refuses, it's up to him because he's the chief executive. If he agrees and he says, okay, here's the authority, please go and get these things done, then I'll go and do it for him, not for me, not for anybody else, so that the credit goes to him, because it will happen in his lifetime. It happened during his reign, and then it will be recorded that this country was cleaned when His Excellency Rajiv Mugabe was the president. Not it was done by me, no. That's why I'm saying we are there to support and give him somewhere to lean on. And we will work flat out. 36 hours a day, 36. We'll stretch the day. What must be done in 1.5 days, we'll do it in 1 day. And there will be no sleeping. There is a lot of work. I'll give you details of that work in the next clip.